Good morning everyone, Mr. Galindo here with Miss Golding and Miss Zelma. We're just looking at the cameras. So when you first use these cameras, you need to go through the correct procedure to set them up for use. Now this is assuming that you have got both the battery in the correct way, don't forget to check that the tab's on the right, and also the SD card, remembering that SanDisk should be upside down and pointing towards you when looking at the front of the camera. So we insert that, close the lid, slide, and the on button is at the top. Once this is turned on, we've got to go through a few different functions. They seem to always set themselves to easy auto when you turn them on. So the first thing we're going to do is actually turn that off, because it will stop us changing any other functions. So we hold the auto button down until it says cancel easy auto. We then hold the right button once, click yes, easy auto disabled, perfect. Now I'm going to go to menu, scroll across to the to the right, which is the tools toolbar. You'll see that it's got that little kind of gear and the hammer. I'm now going to scroll all the way down to the top, bottom I should say, and go to format. I click enter on it. It's hard to get the screen to see. I turn right and then I click OK and OK again. Memory card formatting complete. So there should be no camera images on here. I could check by clicking my review button up the top. No image, none on there at all. So now we're going to go through the process by clicking the shoot button of setting up the camera settings to be appropriate for the photo shoot you're in. And this requires you to kind of think about where you're going to be shooting. So if you're setting this up in the lab, you'd be thinking about where you're going to go afterwards. So the first thing we want to do is click the auto button up here, because it still says auto in the top right of our screen. I click that, and now for me it says program. Yours might say something different. That would be fine as long as it's not auto. Because once you've got it off of auto, you can click the function and settings button, which is that middle button there. This gives us access to the settings wheel on the left, and then a secondary settings wheel just to the right of that. The first thing I would do is select P from the list of different modes. Now you might have all these different icons, digital IS, portraiture, self-timing, low light, all these different ones. Whatever yours is set on, set it to program, because program gives us the greatest control over the functions and different settings within this camera, and that means that we can then turn that to our advantage when on a photo shoot. So going back to the functions and settings, I'm now going to scroll right to the top and start from there and work my way down. Light metering. Your teachers will explain what light metering is. You need to appropriately select what light metering method you want for the kind of images you're taking. This is the kind of thing you might change constantly while on the move. We then scroll down, we've got automatic white balance. Okay, you again want to be changing this to whatever is appropriate with the photo shoot you're on. For example, if we were outside on a sunny day, we'd want daylight. If it was cloudy, we set it to cloudy lighting. So this is all about the temperature of the light being recorded on your camera. Again, you may need to change this on photo shoot, save because the weather changed. ISO, the next setting, we'll leave on auto. We've already set program, we'll skip past it. Exposure, adjust the image brightness. If you are in a very highly bright situation or you're taking images on a reflective surface, you might need to change this so that the exposure is in the negative. Your teachers will explain what that does to the camera, but effectively it'll darken the image out. And on the other side you've got positive, so in case you're in a low light situation or you're trying to take a picture of something that was quite darkly coloured. I'll leave that on a really funny number now just to differentiate it. I can see the timer. I don't want a timer, so I'm going to leave it off. Focus range, if you're going to be taking images for normal shooting, you want it on normal. If you're trying to go for really super far distance shots, where you want everything in focus, infinity. Close-up for macro, or macros for close-ups I should say. I'll leave that on macro because I want to go do some macro shooting. Drive mode, single shooting, okay? Unless you're taking sports shots, you don't really need to do continuous, okay? I'll leave that on single for the most part. The save setting for what size pixels you'll have of your images once they're saved onto the SD card. We want the largest format possible for the highest quality possible. And finally, in case you suddenly have a little idea about taking a video, just as it's on the list of settings, we always leave that to HD, not VGA, as that's the kind of format we use in modern society. Okay, that is the settings for your kind of functions and settings options. The only other thing we usually check before we do much else is what is under there. I'll click the function button again and go back because it pops it up. That button icon there, that's a flash icon. If you see it's got a matching one on our input wheel, If you click that flash icon, it then allows you to turn it off, on, automatic, so on and so forth. You can leave it on what you think is appropriate for your photo shooting. So if you're inside and outside in any one given time, maybe you want it on auto. If you're going to be outside all the time, you probably want that on off, so you'll leave it off. I tend to leave it off unless I need it on. It's my personal preference. And that's about it. I don't think I've missed anything else. We good, Miss Golding?
All good.
Awesome. Have fun shooting, everybody, and take care of your cameras, because if you treat them right, they'll treat your images right, and then you'll have some beautiful, awesome shots.